Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, happy President's Day. I believe that today is a wonderful day for all of us to reflect upon all of those great presidents like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and others. And we can also reflect on the absolute terrible presidents that we've had in recent history. I talk about this all the time. You know, who would have thought that a series of bad presidents could put us where we are? I mean, this national debt issue is scary. This China issue is scary. So let's review the last 20 years, 30 years. 8 years of Bill Clinton, appeasement of China. 8 years of George Bush, increased national debt, blew up the Middle East. 8 years of Barack Obama, national debt, letting China do whatever they want, Russia do everything, everybody do everything they want. Then we have 4 years of reprieve from all that with Trump. And now we're back to Joe Biden again. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, no country in history is guaranteed its future. None. No country is guaranteed its future. Speaking of future, today is the launch of Truth as far as getting the app, downloading the app. You can get it from the App Store. This is Donald Trump's social media site. I've downloaded it on my phone. You can pre-order it. According to Devin Nunes, it will be fully operational at the end of March. So we have about 6 more weeks to go. But the bottom line is, it is going to be a breath of fresh air to have another alternative social media site. And it's going to be incredible, the great swooshing sound of people leaving Facebook and Twitter and going to Truth. I got to defend Trump on another issue. It's been in the news about these national archives. They've made this big issue that Trump took confidential documents from the White House, took them to Mar-a-Lago, took them here, took them there. Really? Really? You don't think every single president in history hasn't taken to read wherever they were going documents? Trump even said that the documents that they were talking about were returned to the National Archives and there's no big issue. But you have people like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, on and on and on, destroying evidence, destroying everything. They're okay. Let's just pick on Trump again. I mean, the endless and ceaseless attacks on Trump make me nauseated. Russia, Ukraine. Well, we were told the attack was going to go Wednesday 2 weeks ago. That didn't happen. Then we told it was going to come next week. Then we were told it was coming this weekend. It still hasn't happened. Meanwhile, you have the president of Ukraine saying, we don't know what the hell they're talking about. Business as usual here. Now we have the French brokering allegedly a meeting between Biden and Putin. We have Kamala Harris admitting sanctions would have worked. Why aren't sanctions going on before the attack? No, we want to wait till after. In fact, the president of Ukraine said, you know, we don't need your sanctions after dead bodies. But I mean, this has just been unbelievable. It's like Joe Biden's administration drumbeating for freaking war in Ukraine. And I really do think that this is all one big punk by Putin. I could be wrong, could invade the day. But I think this was all negotiation leverage by Putin. And if what Putin wants is he doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO, don't let him join NATO. Guess what? We'd have their backs anyway, whether they were in NATO or not. That's the way I look at it. Russia, China. They have just made a big deal together for coal supplying. And I keep thinking about this. The Russia-China alliance. You know, they see that America's in this weakened state. And I think it's clear as hell that Xi and Putin are like, we've got an opportunity to team up and take out our nemesis, those freedom-loving Americans. I mean, it's pretty obvious that's what they're trying to do. The Freedom Convoy, The Freedom Convoy, we're going to promote this. It begins February 23rd in California. They're heading all the way to Washington, D.C. And we're going to post some details. There's a group going from Dry Ridge to Indianapolis, where apparently the convoy might get the Indianapolis Speedway for a place to stop for a little bit. Trudeau is just lost his mind. Do you know the emergency act that he is functioning under was never used after 911, was never used after the government's, everything was hacked? But it's being used on truckers. On truckers. 200 some odd arrests in Ottawa City. Police cracked. I mean, this guy's turned full dictator. And it's going to backfire on him big time. Tucker Carlson made fun of AOC, her new book, saying she was as serious as June Cleaver. That's a good line. AOC struck back, implying there must be sexual harassment in Tucker Carlson's office. I mean, unbelievable. AOC went down to Texas. You know it's going to be bad when now finally the quote-unquote moderate Democrats and other Democrats are pushing aside the defund the police, AOC, and the squad. They finally said, you're destroying us, man. We got to get rid of it. And you know what that makes AOC and the squad? More angry. So they're going to say more crazy stuff. It's going to only help the Republicans. Bill Gates said forcing somebody to put on masks is the same as telling them to put on their pants. Masks and pants. Bill Gates. Sounds like he's having a special party. A masks and pants party. Rent in the 50 biggest cities, has gone up 20%, equal with inflation, equal with the housing. 20%. By the way, I know some working people that work for a wage. I know a lot of people work for the wage. All that's going on in this country right now with inflation and everything else is really, really hurting them. I heard one say this morning, if gas goes up what they think it could, I don't know how I can do this. The Olympics, the worst watched Olympics in history. I am proud to say I didn't watch a second of these Winter Olympics. Did you? Well, 50% less have watched the Olympics. Well, you know what? I'll bet you Xi is so mad. China's so mad. His Olympics, not good. What they thought they were supposed to be. They're putting up the Capitol fence again, the same fence after January 6th, for Joe Biden's State of the Union because they're concerned about security. What a bunch of crock. Well, this is all fanfare baloney. Putting up the fence, making it seem, white supremacists are going to raid the Capitol. Bill Maher has ripped LeBron James, John Cena, and others about the kowtowing to China. Folks, when you look, it's why part of the American Communist tent, when you look at how China just takes over everything. Academia, funneling their money. Hollywood, buying movie studios. Their audience, their market, everything. NBA. Good for Bill Maher. Jean-Luc Brunel died in prison, suicide. This was the publicist for good old Epstein. He was apparently one of his pimps. No cameras. The cameras weren't working. The cameras weren't working. I got some add-ons. Out of the Wall Street Journal, power struggle, rolling blackouts, days without electricity. America's grid is increasingly unreliable thanks to aging equipment, extreme weather, fossil fuel powered plants, and are closing faster. So as we hit $30 trillion in debt, we got that infrastructure problem. But we're going to go green infrastructure. Also, Wall Street Journal Friday, fighter pilots need more time in the air. The U.S. military budget doesn't allow aviators enough hours and sorties to be ready for battle. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Final thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I am blown away how we have entrusted our republic. We entrusted our states, we entrust our federal government to career politicians. They are only after two things: power for the sake of power and money for the sake of status. And we have to change that. We have to change it. We need more and more citizens running for public office, high office, who are just like you and I. And we understand it. We're not stupid. We're smart. And we need to change the whole culture. Donald Trump, hopefully, has begun that process when he won. And I think a truck driver beating the Democratic Senate Majority Leader in New Jersey is a good sign. But look what these clowns do to us. You have people in high office that just make a wreck out of everything. And we all pay the price for it. It's got to stop. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope today is yours.